Good afternoon, Richland College. It's that time again, the Philosophy Club Radio Hour. You are listening to KDUX Web Radio, broadcast live from Richland College in Dallas, Texas. We are the voice and cough of Richland College. Views expressed on this show are our own, unless otherwise stated, and do not reflect the opinion of KDUX Web Radio, Richland College, The Chronicle, Jack Fletcher, ladies and gentlemen, or the DCCCD. Holy mackerel, our country, 'tis of thee. Major League Baseball, the Constitution. It's Wednesday afternoon.
Wednesday.
Welcome back, y'all.
Between Tuesday and Thursday.
The Saturday Night Live.
Okay, guys, welcome back. So, couple shout-outs, quick shout-outs, but before we do that, I, of course, want to introduce the crew here. We got a couple of newbies, and we got a lot of stalwarts. And then, of course, Raul putting the wart in stalwart. Okay, guys, thanks for that. Can we insert laughter? Can we get that?
No, it's not funny. We have to stop this. We need to get more viewers. Better joke.
Go to hell.
Oh, views expressed.
No
okay, guys.
nonsense.
So let's go around the room and make introductions.
What is hell?
We'll start with short-haired Lindsay over there.
Yeah, the topic is not
Hi.
about religion. Sorry, we can talk about hell.
Okay, stop.
Mario, please.
I'm
I
Lindsay.
wasn't being serious.
Hi, Lindsay.
I'm the communications officer in the Philosophy Club.
Snap.
Snap. Not clap. Snap. Thank you.
I'm Trey.
Hey, Trey.
I'm a Richland Collegiate High School student here.
Welcome. He's in my ethics class. Ethics class.
Yes.
Dude,
Who are you?
nice.
I am.
Come closer.
Eat that mic. Grab that mic.
Eat that mic.
My name is J. Cole.
We got a multi-platinum record selling here.
That's right, folks. You asked for him. He's here.
And this is Socrates.
Forget about Frederick.
My name is Carter. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah, neither do we.
Neither
Can we
do
get
I.
security?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
Trying to
most
get
philosophical
extra
question.
Question for the next week's topic. Right?
Trying to
What
get
are we
extra
doing?
credit.
What are we
What is
doing here?
What's your name?
What is
My
here?
name is
Drum roll.
Raul.
the Vice President, soon to be President,
Raul Justice, soon to be president.
Of the
and
United
the
States.
co-host of this podcast. So, some
Welcome.
respect on my name.
Hey.
I've reinstated him.
My name is Frederick Nietzsche.
Welcome.
I'm an up-and-coming philosopher. I'm going to be publishing some books.
Ooh, how does
So
that
tune in. My middle name is Frederick Uche Nietzsche. There you go. So
Uche Nietzsche.
that's my introduction right there.
Welcome, Fred. Good to have you.
Yeah, thank you.
Fred.
What do we got over here?
Do you fight something?
Yo.
Do I fight something?
Yeah.
I fight the priest when I go to church.
No, I'm talking about do you practice any martial arts?
Oh, Brazilian top team. Shout out to Brazilian top team.
Jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai. Shout out Brazilian top team. North Dallas, Coit Road.
Neat Jitsu.
Neat Jitsu.
All right, go for it, Anthony.
What's poppin', people? It's your boy,
Hey,
young Uncle Jemima,
Young
aka,
Uncle Jemima.
AKA Anthony. That's my street name, you know.
hey,
Uncle Jemima.
Spec on it.
he's out here.
I'm out here.
Is that the syrup dude? Syrup lady. Aunt Jemima.
Oh, good day. I'm a philosophy major. Meredith B. Romer.
Welcome. Well, wait a minute, because I feel like every day it changes. So sometimes you have minors, sometimes you're a double major.
He's Socrates.
Wait, are you?
Wait, who are you?
Yeah, who are
Officially, I'm double major. Officially double major, but sometimes
okay.
I say the main one, which is philosophy. The other one is just the second double major.
Double major, minor. Another
It's
minor.
like 4 and 2.
E minor.
But
Who's
I don't
that
only mention
guy?
my majors, never my minors.
Are you a singer?
Where'd those sunglasses come
Who's
from?
that guy? Ladies and gentlemen,
Is that Stevie Wonder?
Ray Charles. I'm Professor Manzi, the faculty club sponsor of the Philosophy Club. Happy to be here, guys. You know, time is ticking. So we've got.
Like 10 minutes.
Well, no, I just mean generally. It's so we have today, and then we have next week, and then we have finals week. So this is the third to last episode of season 2, and then we're gonna take a very long hiatus. We won't return until late September, and a lot of these people, thankfully, will be gone. And so it's
Wait,
we'll finally get the show on the road for
You're
real.
gonna be gone?
Aww,
I'm
the
just joking.
fundraiser wouldn't have
I'm not gonna
happened
be
if
gone.
it
I'm not
wasn't for
gonna be gone.
Ashley and I.
This is true. Okay, no,
Are you
good,
gonna be gone?
good point.
Shout out to Ashley and Lindsay.
Wait a minute, Ro, are you gonna be here next semester?
Not sure right now.
Okay.
I'll still come help.
Oh, good.
I'll volunteer.
Yeah, like if I can come, then
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll come.
No, that'd be great. Yeah, we traded. We made a trade in Brazil. We're getting Joe, and Rose going back to Brazil.
Shout out
It's
to
gonna be
Joe.
perfect. Okay, guys. Yeah, so some shout-outs now. Guys, so yesterday the Philosophy Club hosted an extremely successful fundraiser. We sold pizza, T-shirts. We sold
Soda.
about 30 T-shirts. We got
that's cool.
we
You didn't
raised
say
a grand total of $581.25.
Wow.
Louise over at Student Life OSL, shout out OSL, called it the most successful fundraiser
Are you kidding me?
Did she really?
ever seen since coming here at Student Life.
Did she
Are
really?
you
That is, I am
kidding me?
100%
Yes,
serious.
she said
Wow.
that.
Serious.
I
It's 'cause the
confirmed
boy
this morning.
That's crazy.
She said, yeah, she qualified it. She said it's the second most money ever raised, but the most money just beat us out by a little bit, but they promoted for like 2 months straight.
Wow.
And we were as
We winged
diligent with
it.
promotions. So she said in her mind we're number one. So that's pretty
Dang.
Number
outstanding.
one, I'm gonna put
And I've got
Yay.
and like
She says that to everybody.
That's fun.
No, she
You get a
doesn't.
prize?
we should.
What's my cut of the bunny? Because
I was handing out cuts when I was cleaning the
Yeah, we
popcorn
already
machine
got
all by
it.
myself, Uche.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, but who dragged that popcorn machine in
oh,
there,
that's
though?
yeah,
Who
sure.
set up the entire fundraiser by themselves?
my uncle's a farmer and he raises corn.
Guys, we're coming apart at the seams here. This was a concerted effort.
All right,
The
go
philosophy, no, so seriously, guys, shout out to the Philosophy Club, shout out to Corn. It was a fantastic.
Shout out
Like on
to
a
the
leash.
Lord.
Yeah, it was,
Shout out to Lindsay and Ashley.
shout,
'Cause we
Shout out
shout
to Lindsay and
out.
I
Ashley.
already said that.
yeah, shout
Okay,
out to
let's
everybody.
start.
Lindsay, Ashley, especially they spearheaded this, but
Shout
we
out
got a
to
lot
Billy.
of help. Shout out to
Spearheaded.
Uche, shout out
And
to
the
Raul,
volunteers,
Larissa,
shout out to all the
Mario,
volunteers.
Anthony, all the
All the
volunteers, Alex.
Everybody in here.
Yeah,
Shout out to
just
everybody
really
involved in the
appreciate it.
Philosophy Club.
Shout out to
Even if you
Miss
didn't even know that
Benton.
you're about to be involved.
Shout out to
Miss
Louisa
Benton
Benton.
helped too.
Yeah, and so really just well done. You guys should be really proud of yourselves. I'm super proud of you guys. It was great.
Yay!
shout out to Nietzsche.
All
Put
right,
it
we're
on
losing
your
Mario.
resume.
Mario looks
What?
so bored.
Can we get to the?
Let's
Yeah,
get
let's get to the video.
All right,
He has a
let's
book.
let's.
Get to the topic.
He's literally reading a book. No wonder we don't have any viewers. It's Mario reading.
Mario is done with the
He's
podcast.
so.
He's
He just-
5 years
Why are
ahead
you
of us.
here?
He just waits until.
Yeah,
we-
he discussed this topic years
He's like
ago.
this childish nonsense.
With
that
DJ.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So okay. Let's in the interest of our viewership. Oh yeah, definitely shout out Billy.
Yeah, shout out Billy.
Yeah, super
like
good dude who purchased a couple T-shirts, and yeah, shout out to everybody who was sporting those T-shirts yesterday.
Shout out to
Yeah.
everybody
Shout out to me.
at Richland College.
Shout out to J Cole back
I
there
wouldn't
too.
say
He
that.
Shout out to J.
Yeah.
Cole. Good one, man.
Some-
J. Cole.
Yay.
Shout out to the
J. Cole,
topic.
though.
Yeah. Speaking of which,
Yeah,
True.
to the discussion.
all right. So let's begin the recap here. Oh, I don't have the bell. Yeah, I need you.
Quack.
Quack.
Moo.
Quack.
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 Quack. Quack.
Moo.
Try it, guys. It's fun. Quack.
Quack.
Yeah. So very exceptional turnout on Monday. I think we had 25 people.
Yeah.
Discussing the topic of okay, what was it again?
Social
What did we
media and
title it?
technology's influence on human interaction.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah,
Proposed
yeah.
by Cheryl.
Social technologies. Yeah, what she said.
A YouTube
She's an
comment.
RCHS student in the ethics honors course.
Shout out to RCHS.
Yeah.
Shout out RCHS.
So shout out CHS.
shout out
What was that? So I think
Shout out to Letter S.
yeah, I think that was a great topic suggested by Cheryl. So the conversation itself went in a few different directions, and all of which I think are equally fascinating. So we could pick on anything. Was there anyone any aspect in particular you guys want to recap, and then we can continue to delve into? That'll do it, folks.
That's all our time.
The phones are lighting up.
Do we have phones?
Yeah, guys, call in.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on technology? Call in.
1-800 Richland Philosophy Club.
I think that it's like, I don't know, it's good, but if you can abuse it. I mean, right?
Yeah, okay.
Well, that goes with anything.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Like, you need water to live, but if you drink too much water, you'll get waterlogged and die. So.
Okay, but something that we did talk about was social media and kind of creating internet profiles
Exactly.
and how serious some people actually end up taking their profiles and how much that actually affects their ego.
Well, some people
Yeah.
some people have to take it seriously because
It's
like
their
it's
job
their
or
job.
anything.
Like they're like managing social media for a company and the public relations between the company and the people, or they're like models or whatever, and they're like, oh, I get this many likes because my makeup looks good or because I was cosplaying as this character or whatever. Because, like, that's what they get paid for. That's what people pay them to do.
Yeah, but I'd say that the majority of people just use social media for recreational use, just to actually communicate with their friends. And how it kind of has developed is you see, it's kind of like putting yourself on a constant stage, and the people who are your followers or who are your friends are giving you feedback just basically on the person that you portray yourself to be on your social media. So if I go out 23 hours a day, I'm drinking, going to bars, slapping people, whatever, this and that, whatever. But then 1 hour of the day I dedicate that. Yeah, shut up, Brazilian. 1 hour of the day I take pictures of myself in like a park or like eating an apple or something, and I post that online, and I'm basically just completely skewing the actuality of the situation and presenting myself as that person.
Yes.
And that it's pretty misleading, and it's
Right.
deceiving, really.
Yeah.
Do you think that? Sorry. Do
No,
you
no,
think
no.
that social media has diminished people's skills,
Actually, I'm going to respond
like
to that right now.
communication skills?
Actually, I'm going to respond to
Probably.
right now. Well, according to my sociology professor, I'm not going to mention her name, but probably later, so probably none of you go target her.
Rate my
For her
professor.
Come on, go on.
But according to my sociology professor that wanted to do in summer, she claimed that social media is actually not a moral thing. She thinks that she believes that social media is taking away our freedom to actually interact directly, because now we're interacting through phones and technology. Even at home, we will be doing that.
We still have the liberty
like
to.
you have
Yeah.
three brothers, but all of them will have phone and they're not gonna talk to each other. You just going through the phone and then interact through there. It's like we're not interacting through face to face, but now through machines. And she argued that it's something that we can have to diminish and balance and not let it take over our life, because she claimed that social media is taking over our life, and that's something that is kind of diminishing the whole purpose of having relationships or having social interactions.
Yeah. And
According to her.
I think that's the more traditional approach to it. Yeah, and I'm not sure you can call it not a moral thing if in the same breath you say it's restricting
Yeah.
our freedom to develop more personal interpersonal relationships. That seems like a very moral component to it. But I would say this as well. There is the other side of things, and this is something else we harped upon as I continue to quack down the quacktastic points via the requack. The idea that this is actually just another manifestation of the way in which we can interact, and so in that sense, you could say it increases the freedom we have as yet a new avenue to explore in presenting who we are. But Uche's point again goes back to, and we covered some of this ground in a previous episode. Check the archives about authenticity. And, is social media the kind of thing where it allows you to be especially careful in curating who it is that you are to other people? And then of course, the role that likes play in one's self-esteem, one's self-image. So yeah, I think all these things are involved. So let me ask you guys this. Sorry, my allergies are just killing me. What do you let me ask you guys this. What do you guys think of the idea that social media can be used in a creative way to, I guess, further hone your image as you would have other people see you? And is that in any way unlike what we do interpersonally?
Yeah.
The clothes we wear and the words we use and things like that.
Can I say this?
No.
Personally,
Anybody else?
Oh,
I'm joking.
Yeah, actually.
No, let him talk.
I have some
Let him
thoughts.
talk. Shut up.
Please.
No,
Okay, so personally, the main way I use social media is kind of as a way to expand who I am socially.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll say some things online that I might not say in person, just to gauge reaction to some extent. And, so in a way it does make me a little more coherent and a responsible person whenever I'm talking to someone face to face.
Interesting. So it helps hone. So okay, so that's a really interesting point, because I don't think we considered that. I think we are along the lines of, at least in the discussion, it hampers your ability to interact with people face to face because you become reliant on these social media forms of interaction. But yeah, you're saying no, it's the opposite. That it helps you be a better face to face interactor.
Actually, I will argue.
Interesting.
I would say not really, because I met some people who will who I will be trying to talk to, and most of the time they're stuck with their phone, and you like speaking to them, and then they won't respond because they're on the phone. So the question is, if we agree that it's a good interaction, then why don't we just ban the whole idea of even gathering together in a place? Why don't we just stay home and be in a computer to learn, like the professor's teaching in a computer, like everything we gotta do, instead of like coming to here and be taught? Because if we agree that that's the best way to have interaction, then there's no point of even showing up to class.
Wait,
I have a
no,
question.
I think we could all agree that it'd be better if Mario stayed home.
Well, I've seen similar situations. Like if you go out to eat and a restaurant's really busy and you look around, a lot of times you'll see couples that just stare at their phones. Like this one time, this woman and this man, the woman was staring at her phone the whole time. They got their food. He ate his food. She was still like taking pictures of the food, like posting it,
Oh, really?
staring at her phone, and like you could tell he got upset. Like he was done eating and she hadn't eaten anything. So I think that
Huh.
sometimes if we abuse it, it does become a huge distraction and can interfere with our interaction with other people.
Yeah, it keeps you from living life.
I
It
think
really does. I used to find myself scrolling through social media and the internet, just stupid stuff, relentlessly. And then, so my first semester, I had to erase all of it because I was like, this is irrelevant. Like, I would spend a couple hours a day just like looking, like it was like addicting. It was weird. So
you
I
say
had
that
to
that's
detach myself.
Sorry, would you say that that's social media's fault or that's your fault
I'm
for
saying
having
it's
it
a
addictive?
personal fault. It's personal, but a lot of people find themselves getting addicted to it and attracted to it so much that it affects their everyday life.
By
And,
design. Yeah.
I mean, it happened to me, and I had to separate myself from it, and now I'm okay. So I got over
For me,
my
I would say
problem.
it's a problem for both ways, because we intended to create technology to help the universe, not to help just humans. So if we created
I don't know
technology
about
needed
that.
to only help us,
You don't create cars to help dogs. You
because
create
for
cars to
example,
help
there will
humans.
come a time to the point that we're just not gonna leave our house as well, because you're like, oh,
like
we don't have
Uber
everything.
Eats
Yeah, we're not
or
gonna
a
be stuck at-
favor.
Can I?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh yeah.
I thought you were waving to people.
I'm gonna say something after because you have a hand, right?
yeah.
Right.
No hands, just talk.
Alright. Yeah, just say.
Okay,
We're
so
supposed to-
I'm kind of like on the fence a little bit, but I'm definitely not going to say that social media is inherently like bad or good because it's a platform.
Yeah.
And being like a comics and games fanatic, both of those kind of went through the same type of, oh, this is bad. Well, no, it's a medium. It can be bad or good. One experience I've had is I was homeschooled before coming to Richland, and for one of those years I went through an online school. And while kind of social media, I guess, you know, it's a way for me in like Rockwall, Texas, to connect with someone in Virginia who's a lot better at teaching a subject than
Yes.
my mother or anyone in Rockwall is, just simply because the internet and social media allows us to reach out and form these communities around.
Just bashing your mother, huh, Trey?
Sorry, shout out to mom. But no, I've kind of made some of my I wouldn't say like absolute closest friends, but really close friends through organizations like that,
Yeah.
and you know, experiences like that, and that wouldn't have happened without social media
Definitely a
itself.
virtue.
Well, see, it can be positive and
So,
negative.
but like,
I would think
did
that
you? Did
I would think
that-
that not really a virtue, because we have also another problem. What if you're acting?
What do you mean?
Like
Because-
catfish?
Catfish.
Yeah, because you can have close friends, but how you know they're close friends because you never seen them? They can be pretending, like acting.
So that
This
that
is
was my
true.
follow-up question. Like,
Okay.
Well,
did
to
you
be-
continue, like, for example, did any of those people you talked to were like kind of close to you and you met them?
Actually, I have. I've on a college visit, I went
tried
up to
to.
Virginia and met one of them attending a different university up there.
Right.
And, you know, I've met another one of my friends I've known for a long time was in the school, and she lived in the same state I did, so I knew she was a friend. And I've seen like other friends I met online exhibit the same qualities she did while in the classroom. So I can kind of have a standard to judge where
Okay.
that may not be the case every time, but especially for like different people. But me personally, I've been able to formulate a kind of a standard.
And at
I
the
think.
same time, a person can fake being your friend in person. Just
Exactly.
the same way they can be your
Yeah.
friend
It's
when they're around you.
Yes,
Because
uh-huh,
my
agree.
my question was like, because I normally don't post anything online. I just like see things and like.
It's a voyeur.
Yeah,
Memes.
but like my question would be like, what motivates someone to, I don't know, kind of like not like sharing your usual stuff like news and
Share your life.
Yeah, like
birthday.
divulging
Creating your
personal-
diary,
Yeah, but
making
like
it a personal
like
diary.
every day you're posting your
So
I don't know.
much.
Yeah, stuff like that. Like, what makes people do that?
Yeah, I would personally say my
They want the
experience-
comment and the
Maybe
likes.
they just
Yeah,
want
I think that's the
that
heart of the question.
that attention. Maybe they just
I have
don't
a-
they don't get it elsewhere, so
I have
they
a
feel like they
proposal.
can on social media or
I would say that I
technology.
use social media, but not a lot. I only use it for the purpose of wanting to go back and re-meet in person with those people, not to like interact with them forever in media, because I barely use it personally. But I'm trying to like interact to say tell the person like, hey, I wanna like find a way to meet you up again in person.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
That's the only purpose I would use
you
social
Tinder.
media.
Tinder?
well,
But
and
if
we
it's to
can
reach to the whole
Already
world, then I
known, dude.
wouldn't.
Okay, I have a proposal.
Which is going to propose to Ro?
No.
Nice.
Okay, not on air.
Best man.
Okay,
Might
but
be the best man.
since I don't know where I stand on this proposal, but it seems like it could help or it could somewhat be a solution to some of the people's problems.
Okay.
So what if there was a age limit on the usage of social media like Instagram or Twitter
Interesting.
or things like that where because at such a young age you're such an impressionable person and you don't really have the stability of your own self-esteem at that point. So if you turn to social media and you grow up on this platform where likes are how you've determined whether you look good in a picture or not, or
like young,
Yeah.
like not letting young kids on there.
yeah,
Well,
like
I'm
little
pretty sure
girls or
there's
something.
an age minimum
that's true.
for Facebook and
Well,
Twitter
you-
and stuff.
and
You have to
you
be like
can
13
lie.
or something.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you can lie, but
Yeah.
I didn't know
I'm
that.
pretty sure there is.
Wow.
But
And I
yeah,
know-
you can lie about anything.
Yeah,
I'm like-
but I think a lot of people it helps for businesses too, though. So
True.
So I think I do not believe that there should be
Eat
a
that mic.
restriction on age.
get closer to the mic.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, I don't think that there should be a restriction on age, mainly because to some extent that is a form of censorship.
Hmm.
But a
if,
10-year-old, really?
Yeah, I understand there are some things that a 10-year-old shouldn't know, but I don't think that you should exclude them from something that is so important as a part of our society. Because, I mean, the internet in general is ingrained. It will never go away at this
Mhm.
point. So I think that they should be exposed to it.
Hmm.
And, of course, their parents should be involved in, maybe what they're looking at. But I definitely don't think that they should be kept from it.
Well, many women and even young boys have been like kidnapped or raped or met up with people or sex trafficked
Well, yeah, that's
because
why-
of being on
That
the
used
internet
to be
at such a
video.
young age. Your parents can only monitor so much.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. But, I mean, most people don't end up in that situation, to be fair. And you do have to be cautious of who you're talking to, and that's where it comes to educating your children on how to use the internet and who to avoid. You know how you tell your kids, oh, if a van pulls up to you and offers you candy, don't get in the van. But you can apply that same
Right.
principle to things
Right.
online.
Yeah, or teach your children how to be social other ways without having to find friends they don't even know when they're 10 on Instagram.
Or to be socially
Yeah,
responsible
I don't
on
think
internet.
they do that necessarily. Well, I'm sure they do,
They
but
probably like get in chat rooms.
I don't think chat rooms.
there's no chat rooms anymore.
I came up in chat.
Or
room.
like on video games,
Yeah, that's
where
true.
You, like,
That's true.
chat.
They're just cussing each other out at that point.
There are a lot of people I know when I was like 12 and played like video
Call of Duty.
games, and I still like kind of talk to them
Eat that
It's fine.
micro.
at this point, but it's not like they're going to my house and like
Yeah.
stalk me. Or
But isn't that a
something.
possibility? Can't you find where somebody lives based on
can.
their
You
what is
can,
it?
yeah.
IP
Yes.
address?
You can, but like
You
You
can
gotta know
find-
what you're doing.
I
Yeah.
took the risk and I'm alive. And
I know,
Well,
but
I want
this
to-
day and age,
Now.
it's getting worse, especially sex trafficking, and it's an easy target, the internet, for young
Yes.
women more than men. But
And
Yeah, but
It's a
I
big
also had
deal.
to reply about age limit. I would say that
Yeah.
you do require age limit on social media because if you're young, you pretty much don't have knowledge. Even if we tell you like the bad thing not to do, you still
Exactly.
gonna try to do the bad thing.
but But should that be? Should the website set the age
Or the
limit,
parents?
or like who should set?
That's a
I
good
would say-
Maybe
I
the
would say that the
parent. If the
government-
parent doesn't want you on there, don't give you
I would say that has to
technology.
be the government itself, meaning that they should ask you like more information, like what is your social security number? Because I feel that social security number is the thing that they should ask you. Like, all right, so put your social security number. That way, that way, if you lie, they just track you down your social
But is
security
that
number
even
to find the
doable
evidence.
anymore? Because you have people from all different types of countries, and how are you gonna track who's from where? And that's just
It
like,
depends
for
on the
example,
country's
if
social security
let's say
number.
the U.S. government tells Facebook, well, you have to ban everyone who's like younger than 18. So now they're going to spend like half of their budget or something like that, like a huge amount of money to do that,
Well,
Yeah.
they have
instead
to
of
then
making the
let it be.
website somewhat
Then let it
better.
be.
It should be
No
a
argument.
parent's responsibility. If they are worried about it, don't give your kids a computer.
I would have to say then let it be.
Let
That
it
way, if it's
be.
that's
The
case.
internet itself isn't all bad. It's
Yeah.
it's the ones that can weigh on a child's character before it's fully developed that I would say that's bad.
Right.
Where at an early age you establish that if I get over 100 people to like my picture, then I look good in the
Right.
picture. Then you apply that to real life, and it's like,
like little kids on Instagram.
yeah, musically kids. Oh, what's the dude, Jacob Sartorius?
Sing a song for me.
No, dude.
Okay, so I want to comment. I want to comment on something Raul said. He's talking about how they have to invest money in maybe keeping people off of something. Well, in China, they have some really strict censorship laws, and Facebook has to abide by those if they want to operate
Right.
there. So they have to
Right.
invest a ton of money in complying with
So
those
they already do
censorship
that.
laws. So yeah, they already do that.
Right.
But that can never hold in a democracy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say
Yeah,
the
no,
I would
of
say the
course.
companies cannot override other countries' law. So I would say that China is doing actually a good job, because that's something
knew
that you
you'd
should
say
do. Like, because if you're a company, you're supposed to respect the rules of the country you're trying to sell.
But
That way to maintain stability.
I think essentially it's going to be up to the individual how they use technology and social media and how it affects them.
yeah, and so this gets at different sensibilities that are generated by different cultures in different places.
Right.
Yeah, and so again, if you do
But-
have, no, go for it.
But I think that's never going
No,
to be
please,
like
go
a
for it.
long-term thing, because
Continue.
someone
Keep going.
You were
see,
saying.
okay, so Facebook has a flaw. I'll just make my own website.
Stop talking over
And
him.
people are going to join that website, and then the government closes your website, and then you make a new one, and then you keep doing that. So people, like developers, are always going to keep doing that.
Hey, I think that's true. One step
And,
ahead. Yeah.
I guess. Like, for example, in Russia, they have their own Facebook website.
Their own?
Really?
Yeah.
I want to see this.
It's
No,
VK,
okay.
right?
So
VK.
I don't know specifically, but I know that in China again they don't have Google, they have Baidu.
Baidu.
What?
Oh my god.
Interesting.
It's like a
Baidu it.
virus.
Yeah, I mean it's basically a virus.
I think she
If-
pronounced it Badu.
Bidet.
I don't know how to pronounce
No,
it.
I'm just joking.
They have bidets in China.
Bidet.
Yeah, but days in Europe.
It's pronounced bidet. No, no, that's interesting, and yeah, and to your point too about how China's doing it. Yeah, I think you're right to point out that it is feasible theoretically,
Mhm.
and so I mean that could bring us to questions as to how much regulation should the government impose upon things like social media, which is supposed to be, at least initially, a creative platform, an artistic endeavor that you could use
Right.
to again present yourself and project certain aspects of yourself and concealing others, not unlike we
Mhm.
do in face-to-face interaction, everyday life.
Yeah, there was that Facebook killer who was like streaming
yeah,
streaming
yeah.
the things live.
Yeah, but what can they do about that?
Yeah.
though? It's hard to stop people from doing that with such an open platform.
Mhm.
And I don't think that the government should put their hands on it, as at all. Of course, they should regulate out the really terrible stuff like that, or at least try to as much as possible. But with such an open platform, it's really hard to do that.
Yeah.
So I would argue it depends on the government. If they want to regulate, if the bill that it depends on the government and the
But
constitution.
for America.
Yeah, because if you're in the United States, then yeah, it makes sense that you shouldn't regulate. But if you're in another country's government, they say that no, we must regulate. Then you cannot violate those laws because then you being the country being the immoral one.
You'd fit the definition of a criminal.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think you're right. So what do you guys think? What would happen, do you suppose, if the United States of America decided to regulate all forms of social media, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat,
You would have a
Facebook?
uprising of
Yeah.
12-year-old.
Actually, I would say that you will have an uprising because the people
My
are
dad
already
works at
taught that
Microsoft.
they have this liberty.
I'm gonna get you banned.
I would say that people will uprise because they already taught that you have this liberty. So taking it
Yeah.
away is like a contradiction. So for me, it's justified to uprise if you have the liberty and then they're trying to do the opposite of what you're told.
Yeah.
But wait, but you would be fine. Okay, so if you lived in China, you would be fine with that.
I would say
The
that yep,
rules?
if it's their law, then it's their law.
You
We
wouldn't
cannot
be
do
upset.
nothing.
Like, oh man, I wish
No,
we
because
had
different countries, different rules. Sorry.
Alright, okay. I guess.
I mean, if you were born in China and that's all you know, then you wouldn't know a difference.
Right. But
I don't. You think so, or do you think that maybe, no matter where you're born, you could ascend to this place rationally, where you're like, no, this doesn't seem right. The government is wrong
Well,
here.
what about North Korea, where they're like they think their leader is great because that's
Great
all
barbecue.
Wait, what did you say? North Korea? What?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, what about in, like North
I
Korea,
understood.
where they're like, all they know is, oh, our leader is great because that's all that's ever thrown in their face. That's all they ever see.
you mean
Yeah.
the best career?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. It's this idea that, to a certain extent, and I think this is also Mario's point. This idea that you are informed in terms of your sense of right and wrong, just and unjust, by your principal rulers, your leaders, not rulers. Well, in that case, rulers.
Principal architects.
Yeah, exactly. And so let's circle back around then to because this is a really great line of thought, and we didn't. Are we done with the requack? We didn't really cover
I think
this
we are.
in the club, but I think it's awesome. But what about some of the other things that we touched upon in the club meeting? So, namely, getting back to this idea of again using social media, and you said it, my friend. It's not going anywhere. So, using social media as a way to just understanding it as yet another form of being able to present a side of yourself, for better or for worse. And because look, guys, let's be real. You go to certain profiles, and some of them really smack of effort. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can sense the disingenuousness behind it, or you can sense the attempt to try to be something. How does that strike you? Like, should you be offended by that? Should you see that as distasteful, or should you see that as, okay, this person is using it for what its intended purpose is, just not as good at it?
Possibly. It could be the same as seeing somebody in real life trying to pretend to be someone they're not by wearing their clothes or anything, or by how the way they talk, or by how the way they walk around the classroom or anything like that. But at the same time, you shouldn't really be offended by it, but it's definitely cringeworthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can
I
you
would-
give a more specific example?
What's your Facebook?
I got something to say.
I don't have a Facebook.
I don't know.
I would say what's the point? Because like if you do it right, I guess you're making this big charade, and how like you want to be portrayed.
But everybody
like,
likes
if-
you.
No, like nobody. I was gonna say nobody likes
Some of
you.
those people,
I'm
some of those
offended.
people feed off of likes.
I'm triggered.
They need those likes to make them feel
But at the
self-worthy.
end of the day, are those likes gonna like if are those likes gonna like?
I mean, who cares?
Okay, so
Likewise.
saying like somebody who likes your picture ask you on a date or whatever, and you're like, oh, cool, yeah, and they see the real you, and they're just like, oh, I was catfished.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Could you catfish somebody via personality? So, this
You
person
can,
seems
yeah.
really cool according to the Facebook page.
And then they're like
Yeah.
a horrible human
Yeah,
being,
exactly.
and you're like, oh well.
You're not really like. My point was like basically you're not.
We can't hear you.
Basically, my point was you're not like fooling anyone because like at the end of the day, everyone's gonna see the light when.
Yeah.
You're only fooling yourself.
Yeah, you can only fool yourself for so long.
Well, for me, it kind of depends because if you're doing it for entertainment
Fair
purpose, if you're using social media to present yourself for entertainment purpose, then yeah, go ahead, do it.
Filthy Frank.
But if you're doing for educational purposes or purpose that has to do with logic, then yeah, you should be called out because you're
Right.
trying to teach people something that have been proven to be factually contradictory or wrong.
And people get.
Okay, yeah, if you're trying to mislead,
People get
false
Yeah.
facts,
Yeah.
Yeah, false fact.
Yeah.
Then I'll say that
Like
yeah, you should call them out.
Earth is flat. People get all that.
What?
This
You're just trolling.
I have to go.
Hashtag
Ah.
nice shirt.
Lindsay.
Nice shirt.
Goodbye.
Who has a nice shirt?
I'll be at the thing at 2:30.
Okay, cool.
Wait, what's at 2:30?
Oh yeah, I
yeah.
forgot about
Bye.
I have a learning.
Okay,
yeah,
but
I'm
let's
teaching
keep-
a learning
so-
connections workshop on individuality.
Today?
Yeah, today 2:30 in the learning center.
But
Yeah, you should totally go if you can make it.
Oh, I was thinking the podcast was
Got a
2:30.
note.
Oh no. I see you later, Lindsay.
All right.
Steal your mic.
Base.
Oh wait, there are more people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
Dude, I got an upgrade chair.
Well, so then
Is this your phone?
here's my thing, y'all. It's
Your phone?
who are we to say somebody is being when somebody's being disingenuous and when they're just simply trying to, because look, especially if you're an adolescent or a tween even, what you do is try on new identities. That's part of what it is to be of that
That's
age.
true.
And so
Yeah.
it seems like, why would we hate on people who are just trying that out maybe even further? It's almost like there's a perpetual adolescence. Hashtag plug. I'm teaching a class called Today's Loss of Innocence, Coming of Age in Contemporary Society, Learning
Oh.
Community in the fall. At any rate, shameless plug. But you see, but my point nonetheless, that, you know, why cringe at that? Just be like, okay, I see what this kid's trying to do. I've done it. That's good. Maybe this
haven't
person
done
is
it.
not happy with who he or she is and
I
wants to
haven't
try
done it.
something.
Actually, I agree to you that I wouldn't crunch. I would just.
Oh, thanks.
I would just try to see.
Alright, see you, man.
I would try to.
No, he's letting in somebody.
Yeah, I will first try
Oh.
to ask the person what they stand for and analyze the argument through philosophical.
What up, John?
Oh, is that John?
Okay. No, keep going, Mario.
So I will try to analyze the argument through a philosophical discussion, and then once I see a contradiction, then I will call it up. Be like, look, there's a contradiction right here. So what are you trying to do? And then find out more information about it until I get the full picture. And then I point out the contradictions to make sure that I'm not like misleading the person or using a fallacy against it. Because
Okay.
I wouldn't cringe. I would cringe once I notice like, oh, so this is what you stand for.
Then you can share a mic with Mario.
I would go average if I find out, oh, this is what you stand for, and all this contradiction you doing, and then you claim that you're this, then yeah, now then it will be justified to cringe.
It could depend on what you're trying to do with your image, because if you're actually trying
Okay.
to, if
Yeah.
you're just doing it for fun, I guess then it's cringeworthy still, but it's not hurting anybody. It's just something that you're doing for fun. But if you're actually trying to maybe influence people or trying to sell a product using a fake personality, then I guess in that way, if it's actually going to be affecting people in their lives, then that would be something that could be immoral or called out on.
Well, what would be the difference between selling a product with a fake personality and a real personality? As long as the product gets sold, then like what's the real difference in whether it's actually you or not?
well, okay.
Gross.
Aside from if you think the product is bad or not or whatever.
There is of course an aspect of salesmen where they put on a persona
We're
whenever
gonna
they're
need the
trying
Boyle
to
mic
sell
7. Sorry, I'm sorry. Keep going. This
Okay.
kid's coughing all over the mic.
Oh, me? Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm coughing my hand.
So they do have a personality to that they kind of snap into whenever they go try and sell things, and we can parallel that with how people are online. They kind of snap into a completely different mode, but as in person versus a salesman attitude, I think that. I mean, it kind of shows someone's true colors whenever they snap into a different mode.
Okay, but that implies that there's some sort of default mode. Like, can it be the case that we're free to just create and recreate different versions of ourselves at will? And is there
There's a word for
necessarily something
people like
wrong
that.
with
I think you
Also,
can
kind of
try
on that
to
point
create.
here.
Yeah.
If we say, "Oh, you're being professional," you go to work, you say "Good morning" instead of "Hey, what's up" to your boss. Does that mean you're a fake and you need to exile yourself now because you had a professional
good point.
attitude? If a salesman just treats the item like an item he's trying to sell and is professional about it, is that a wrong thing?
Yeah, or is it just being appropriate, being effective at that particular position?
I think it comes down to what you're trying to sell.
Yeah, that's
I
pretty
think
much.
so, yeah,
that's pretty
maybe.
much the same thing I would say, because I would say that you personally have your own personality, but it depends on the place. Because in some places they don't want you to present some thing that they find as wrong. For example, you're not gonna come in a place and start cussing because in that place they find that wrong and they're like, no, don't do that. So you have to kind of present yourself.
You guys have class?
Y'all
So
about
you
to
have to
leave?
say, so how do you agree that you as a
Thanks for
salesman,
coming, y'all.
as a salesman, and then in a professional place, that
Trying to
you
get
have to
over.
present yourself in a way that they want you to present yourself.
So you charter? card.
You're not gonna
yeah.
present yourself the way you are officially in that place because they don't want you to present yourself. So therefore,
I'm gonna skedaddle too. I gotta pass this skedaddle too.
Oh man, everybody.
Thanks for coming, guys.
so
See
like
ya.
I was saying, so therefore in that case it's justified, like kind of have
What's
a
your
different
name?
personality.
Yeah.
Trey, see.
And so again, yeah. So there are justifiable reasons for acting accordingly when the context really requires it. I would say.
Yes, I would say yes, it is.
And but then there are other times again based upon the nature of the product being hawked. So again, are you trying to sell a new car, a la Hassan? Are you trying to sell God?
An image.
Are you trying to sell an image of yourself? Trey, thanks for coming, man. That was great.
We kind of talked about it in the philosophy club on Monday.
Exactly.
When I was talking about this idea that you're constantly selling yourself and constantly doing that.
Yeah,
So
I would
does-
say that if you're selling yourself, then yeah, you have to be now more truthful because if it's something else that's not yourself, then maybe yeah, you can be not truthful. But if it's yourself, then you have to be truthful mostly.
But you don't want to go into a car dealership and have the Toyota salesman go, yeah, the engines on these are real unreliable, but it is cheap. You don't want to hear that.
Well,
so
you
when I
don't
go
want-
online, I'm not going to be like, yeah, I do have this problem with the deviated septum, but
Exactly.
I'm a real cool guy. Otherwise, you're just going to say I'm a cool guy.
I can't swim, but I would like to be a lifeguard because I need the money, and I like the beach. Yeah, exactly.
Now, kind of in
I
the
like
idea of a
pina
lifeguard,
colada.
you're misrepresenting yourself at the expense of others.
Yeah, those people could die as a result.
yeah, exactly.
That's fair. That's a fair point.
Yeah.
But what if you just don't know yourself yet and you're still trying to discover yourself? I think that's the beauty of something like Facebook or social media, especially again for those adolescents who, again, that's
I
where
think it
they're
could
at.
actually hurt at the
Yeah,
same
I would say
time.
that it depends on the.
Oh, that's interesting.
It depends on the mind because if you're close-minded, and you claiming that you're being different than everybody, then no, you're not excused.
Potentially,
to have
What does
that argument.
What does thinking about fashion have to do with it? Closed-minded.
Yeah, so that means if you're open-minded and you say that no, I have different felt, then yeah, you're more justified not to make an argument saying, oh no, I'm trying to discover myself because you're being open-minded. But if you're closed-minded, then there's no excuse because now you basically said that you already have a self-personality.
That's a good distinction.
well, I could say that potentially using social media, if you're trying to discover yourself through social media, you're possibly putting it into the hands of other people because through the likes, if you get a picture wearing a certain outfit and that picture gets a lot of likes, get a picture wearing another outfit and that picture doesn't get a lot of likes, you're going to prefer the picture that got a lot of likes, but you're using other people's measurements to come to a conclusion on yourself. It's not really it's not internal, it's social.
External, yeah.
Yeah, I would say it kind of depends because personally, I don't dress the way people want me to dress. I just dress the way that I find it attractive based
But
on my own perspective.
When you were like 13 years old.
Oh no, never. Actually, when I was 13, I was thought that way, but I was forced to dress the way my parents wanted to be
Yeah.
find it attractive. So because I wanted to have long hair like women, I still do, but I'm not allowed to do that. Not because I want to look like every other guy. I'm like, I don't care. If they want to look different, then I just don't find that
but
attractive.
even then, to his point,
I would
like,
trade hair with you in a heartbeat, Mario. I'm not even joking.
even then, more to his point, it's not so much that he's saying, are you making that decision because of peer pressure or something like that, but also, if you're saying, who am I? And instead of looking into
You turn to
yourself
other
and saying,
people.
what do I do? If you look outwards, then you're only, we keep coming back to this, how do you consider their judgment?
Yeah.
If you don't spend any time alone, if the second you go, well, how does this outfit look? And you don't look in the mirror, but instead take a picture and put it on Facebook and go, what do you think, guys? What does everyone else think? I don't have a personal opinion on this thing, so I'm leaving it up to you to decide what my opinion is.
And then I'll
Yeah.
adopt that opinion.
And then
Yeah.
you say, no, this is a good outfit because everyone likes it. Instead of saying, this is a good outfit because I like earth tones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but there's also some. I think that's spot on. And there are also aspects of that to which one can appeal rationally. Like maybe I just don't have as great of an eye for fashion as others do, and maybe I don't know what kinds of tones go with my skin tone, earth tones or pastels and stuff like that. And it could help you be, I don't know, a more well put together person, at least aesthetically, and that's good. But yeah, I think you're right. The danger is when you rely almost solely, or at the very least predominantly, thereon, and because then where does that leave you? Now the question then becomes, how is that, and if so, in what ways? I think it is different from learning what is socially acceptable behavior. So
Well-
again, you might want to you might want to run around and streak through the halls of Richland, but you will get a very bad response from that. And so you're not going to do that.
You might.
Yeah. So for me, I would say that it kind of depends. I would say that it has to be a balance. Like
Okay.
it's supposed to be a balance, like that you have supposed to have a balance of what you want for yourself, and also a balance of what you expect from other people to like. But don't make it out yourself, because then you become selfish, and then don't make it everything for other people, and then you just become a brick in the wall. So
Nice.
kind of find a balance. That'll be my argument.
Okay.
Kind of look at that. You're saying, like something as innocent as, fashion sense, where it might help you be more socially acceptable. Streaking through the halls of Richland is distracting to others. Thereby, it would have a negative effect if you didn't do it. If you wear a pink shirt with blue pants and it clashes horribly,
Pink Floyd shirt.
it's not necessarily completely like and utterly distracting to others.
I
It's
think
not
so, too,
going
yeah.
to steal attention from everything.
Yeah.
It might be garish and look horrible, but it's not going to negatively affect others to the point where they might go, well, that just ruined my day.
I mean,
Well,
it
it kind of it depends. I would say that kind of
Because
does
we do have
sometimes.
dress codes.
Right,
Dude,
right.
okay.
I mean, it does kind of depend. Granted, if I show up in a shirt with jangly musical beads and stuff all sewn into it and makes noise everywhere I go, that's obnoxious. And thereby I would be, shunned. They would say, just get out of here,
That's
man.
so
You're
cool.
distracting everyone.
Or if you wore like a tank top with Nazi tattoos all over.
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Again, you are perfectly free to have your Nazi tattoos, but you cover them up when you're around the rest of us because we really don't want to see them.
Yeah, it's gonna spark outrage probably.
Yeah, I'd go ahead and wear long sleeves.
Well,
But-
yeah, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, but the idea comes to that privacy. I guess
Mm.
I would say if you forcibly force yourself to be in a glass house, if you make everything visible and every part of your life visible at all times to everyone, you destroy your own right to privacy. So then, if you
Ooh,
have no opinions
interesting.
of your own, no privacy, what what self-direction do you have? If you live the Truman Show,
Yeah.
how much can you actually say you decided to do?
Yeah, I would say that would be a person who mostly make history.
Good afternoon,
Because
good
it-
evening, and good night.
I would say that in that case, I would say that it's not really more if someone destroyed the whole privacy. Personally, I would say that that's not really more because you actually became history for that person for people because the people who we call mostly history are people who read their privacy and try to do for others to see what they've done. Sometimes
Right,
they will
people
have
do it
privacy,
every
but
day.
most of the time they will read
Reality
the privacy.
TV shows.
Yeah, people do it every day where, you go and a meeting. Hey, what are you doing right now? I'm going to the store later. Oh, I'm doing this, that, and the other thing. Granted, there's a small window to say, well, they didn't live stream the whole thing, but it'll be there one day.
Well,
I don't think it'll really make history.
Ooh,
It'll just
circle.
be a
Well,
nice
it
little-
depends on how it makes history. If it's something that goes against the whole society, then probably it will make history. But if it goes in favor of society, then no, it's not. Because same thing again, breaking the wall.
Yeah, and there's also this deceptive component of oversharing too, because you have somebody who overshares everything, it seems, and so you think, oh, this person's an open book, but the real big things they're keeping quiet, and so in that way, it's like oversharing for the sake of privacy. So you wouldn't suspect anything is going on behind the scenes because it seems like they're completely open. Is there a sort of moral component to that, I wonder? Is that a form of catfishing, in other words? Or is that perfectly rational?
It
For
could
me,
be.
For me, not really rational that much. Because if I feel like I'm going to become friends with someone deeply, I feel like they should be open and kind of read more their privacy. Because they have some privacy and then probably there's something behind the scenes which it kind of bug me. I'm like, hey, why did I even become friends with this person? If they're going to keep private stuff, shouldn't they read their privacy? And it depends on the expectation, because if that person
Mhm.
says, oh, you got to do all this stuff, and they keep your privacy, then that will bother me. Like, hey, wait a minute, you expect me to do this and then now you have privacy?
Yeah.
But if you don't ask too much
Fair enough.
expectation, if you don't ask too much expectations, and then you have too much privacy, then I'll say, yeah, that's tolerable. You're not asking me too much, so yeah, you can have much privacy.
Yeah, and I only bring up. I think that's fair considerations. I only bring it up because it seems like the social media era is encouraging people to share, just by virtue of the kind of technology it is. Whereas
Yeah.
otherwise, you may not have been inclined to.
It's always hands-on.
Yeah,
The camera is built into the phone, front screen, back screen.
exactly.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask another thing, because wouldn't social media as a way to force people to be more truthful instead of being liars?
No.
I don't know about that. Maybe.
Yeah, because the more you share, the more like you basically are being truthful, Because mostly when you have privacy, you keep something hidden and you mostly will lie.
You can share
In
something
order to
you
protect
don't
that
agree
hidden
with.
Why is
secret-
keeping things hidden a lie? I mean, like I brought up before, you close the door when you go to the bathroom. We all know what you're doing in there. Why don't you just leave the door open? Why don't you let us all see what you're
Well, if
doing?
you only knew what I
Well,
was doing
we
there.
still know what you're doing, but it's just we're not gonna see it. That's the more details to it.
But that's the thing. It's a natural bodily function.
Yeah, but-
Everyone does it. Literally,
But here's
why did we
another-
close the door?
But here's another thing: you can be closing the door and be doing something else than just doing it what it's
Oh.
intended
Yeah,
to.
exactly. You could go in the
And
bathroom
then you can lie,
shoot up
and then you can
heroin.
say,
Interesting,
"Oh, I
yeah.
used the version for this purpose." But it's still gonna be a lie going on.
But that's the thing. It just comes down to like, why do we immediately have to say, if you close a door, if you don't let us see what you're doing, you're hiding and you're doing something wrong. Because every day we go home when we close doors. Every
yeah.
day, you turn off your computer and you go to sleep.
I
What are
would
you
say that-
thinking
I
about
would say
while you're
that-
sleeping?
I would say that that's only in this country, because in my country we always keep the doors open all the time. Only close it at night because of protecting light, but most of the time it's just open.
Even bathroom doors?
You get bugs in your house.
Oh, bathrooms, no, they're not really open.
Oh, okay, I see. But you know what's funny is that somebody could be in the bathroom. Okay, cool. Somebody could be in the bathroom and with the door closed and being like, tweeting,
Yes.
"Wow, I just took a major dump."
yeah.
Hashtag dump.
So that's basically the point I'm trying to make. The more privacy you
Hashtag
have, the
nice
more
shirt.
like you probably gonna lie to protect that privacy that you having.
Oh, but it's not just is it a lie by omission to just say, hey, what'd you do? Well, I went to the bathroom. You didn't say, hey, listen, well, I took a 3.75 pound. Is
He's about 19 squares.
yeah, exactly.
Well, nobody can ask that, because if you took too short, then it's gonna be like, well, we already know what you did.
but if I walk
But
out
if
the
you stay
bathroom,
there for like 1 hour, then probably we're gonna ask like, hey, why you stay there for 1 hour? Because
I had the
it would seem
runs.
irrational, like why you took that long.
But if we have this idea of that all the time we're in our house, we're accessible to other people on the internet doing X, Y, and Z, and we go to the bathroom, we get a little privacy, we sit down, maybe we just scroll Facebook for a minute, don't talk to anyone, don't comment on anything, and then we get up and we leave. Is the bathroom becoming our last refuge of privacy?
Pretty
Because
much,
we
yes.
societally don't ask what we're doing in there?
Pretty much, yes, I will argue.
It's like that Seinfeld episode where Kramer lives in the shower.
Because remember, it depends on the facts.
Shut up,
because,
Seinfeld.
because it would be irrational to be in the restroom because we have knowledge of what you're gonna do in the restroom. Pretty much, that's not really private because we already know. We just don't want you to tell it because we already know.
Well, I'd argue that it's
But once we see that it took too long, then be like, wait a minute, why did you take long? They should have took short. Then we will know that there was something else going on.
But I would argue this, that insofar as you're bringing your phone into the bathroom, where that does seem literally the rest room where you go to rest. Insofar as the phone is there and you can access the internet, you're already more likely to share, and you're already more
I don't
likely
think-
to
I don't know
keep
about
in
that.
there. Perhaps. Okay, guys, we got to wipe up. Excuse me, we got to wrap up. Okay, you're listening to K-Ducks Web Radio, broadcast live from Richland College in Dallas, Texas. We are the voice of Richland College. Views expressed on this show are our own unless otherwise stated and do not reflect the opinion of K-Ducks Web Radio, Richland College, or the DCCCD. Okay, guys, so next week, Philosophy Club is meeting. It's the last week of classes, but we will be meeting EO 76 from 1 to 2. The topic of which is, do you guys remember what the topic was?
I don't remember.
Lindsay-
Shout out Brazilian top team.
Lindsay wrote it down, but
Don't
shout out
Dallas.
Lindsay.
she, I think she left. She left her notebook at the fundraiser, but Ashley
Yeah, she
grabbed it.
did.
But Ashley
But Ashley's
isn't
not
here. So okay, it was something with politics, was it?
Yeah, radical and reactionary.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, the difference between radicals and reactionaries. So it's something along the lines of political
Stuff.
justice, political response. Yeah, political upheaval versus. No, wait, you had something else in mind. I'm sorry, I'm butchering this. What you?
Explain it, Mario.
Yeah, explain it. Explain what you had in mind.
Oh, like what does it mean to be a radical and what does it mean to be a reactionary based on decisions, culture, and everything?
So
And how do we define those both terms and how they're different?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because a reactionary is something along the lines of maybe reclaiming a tradition, whereas a radical is a complete break therewith.
Yes.
Okay, so it's so it's not necessarily political, but you can
That
certainly
one
take in
thing.
that direction. Okay, yeah.
Just like that one thing.
Any final thoughts then on social media? I mean, again, guys, the irony is funny because we are uploading this to YouTube.
Hey, make sure you leave a like so we know
Make
it's
sure
a
you
good
leave a like,
episode.
comment, subscribe.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
yeah. Speaking of which, let's get some of those views
Talk
going.
about your boy
Go
Uncle
to-
Jemima in the comments.
RichlandStudentMedia.com, y'all. Okay, guys, thanks a lot for listening. This has been the Philosophy Club Radio Hour, broadcasting
Great
every Wednesday
Awakening,
from 1 to
that's
2
what
in EO 11. That's again El Paso
I don't know
Hall
if that-
11
is that
in
the
KDUX
Enlightenment?
Studios. All right, guys, stay liking.
Shut up, Brazilian top
I
team.
need
As
to
like
have
a
a sign
werewolf.
off.
Shut up, Billy.
Turn off your phones and go outside once a week.
Don't do that.
No.
All right, stay
I think I will
connected.
do that all the time.
All right.
Um,
Later, y'all.
KI